Hey everybody! This is an amazing day because we're actually sitting in this full functional studio and we're gonna do a very special episode of Quest for Future Creativity. The setup is so you can actually see the table. There's a drawing board and there's a screen, and I can actually flick between these while I try to explain something that has been so important to me from the very beginning. And this actually focuses on the full story of Lego, what it's meant to me and to a lot of people around me. And I think it hasn't been put into words yet, so I'll try to do this. And it starts at one word, because actually, if you look at it, Lego saved me. And that's actually a thought I've started to have, that this toy has sort of the potential of saving your creativity, and which is actually a really good thing. It can actually spark hope and spark ideas. So I want to try to explain this theory. And where to start? It all started with these bricks, and a lot of them. So how to explain something that's larger than life and at the same time has to do with basic bricks. Okay, back in 86.
We're about to get our fix on 1986.
It's a different millennium. I started out working for Lego, and one of the first jobs I got was the pirates.
Now me heart is, let's find the treasure.
The original pirates ship, and sort of that whole thing. And this story was the first time you told a story with characters who actually were characters with the minifigs. And of course they had this amazing thing they were looking for, the treasure. And that has always been sort of the pivot point for the stories that I have been involved in, that there is this treasure that you seek. And to take that further into the next thing I was part of, we had the amazing Aqua Zone.
Calling base. We've spotted a crystal.
And for many reasons, this meant that we had a different kind of treasure that we were hunting. This time, it became something even more magical, because you had this amazing energy crystal.
Hey, the aqua sharks are searching the box. Yeah, but did they get the crystal?
And if you look at this energy crystal, it actually starts the whole adventure. Because what is this crystal about? I think this crystal is creativity. I'm going to try to explain that. Okay, this is a creative board in Copenhagen Rig, and I'm actually a bit sad about taking these pictures away, because this is Artie. This is early drawings of Artie, and it's early drawings of the logo, but they have to leave now. Hopefully you will see more of these in the future in animation, but okay, we just saw with the Lego bricks, there's two different states of Lego bricks. There's either the one where it's put together and it becomes something, and there's the one where it's pulled apart and it's basically just a lot of loose bricks. So basically you can sort of divide this into two scenarios. We have one circle, and this is all the loose bricks. Maybe in the universe or in the box you just bought. Then you have another state, and maybe I should actually do this with another color. And this is actually when you start putting the bricks together. Then it actually passes from this state into this, and it becomes something. Maybe like this diver or something, or it becomes a character, or it becomes a house. So these are the two stages, unbuilt Lego and built Lego. But basically that fits really, really well with the whole thing about antimatter and matter. Because how can stuff be two things at the same time? And actually Lego has that ability. And the coolest thing of it all, if you put yourself in this map, where are you? You are right here. Because Lego, and that's gonna be my headline, Lego puts you in the center of gravity. You control gravity. So, and you can say creativity equals gravity. And what amazing ability that you can basically take a toy and you can become the force of gravity. You are deciding what to put together. And that is actually, in many ways, how you could explain, how do you build a new story? How do you put together any creative idea? You start by collecting small pieces and you put them together the way you want it. And then you have output. So basically you can also talk about this is future and this is past and this is now. Because the moment you put the bricks together, that is actually when these loose bricks, these loose ideas become concrete ideas. And they go into this. And just look at the shape we have done, which is so beautiful. It's the big 8. And Lego has placed you right here at the center. And if you look at this, this actually becomes almost like a philosophy or a Legology. Because building your life, building your story consists of a lot of loose bricks, a lot of memories, a lot of possibilities that you put together in some way and you end up with something down here. And the coolest thing is, all the bricks you pick up, they're the ones you chose. So these bricks they can look like anything and you can put them together into something special. And it's so individual and at the same time it's global and it's sort of everybody can be in this kind of control. So I think creativity and gravity comes together. And if you look at it really, really in a weird way, all this here is antimatter, is unused creativity. And this is the matter, this is what we have on Earth. These are the physical things, like everything we're carrying around has become solid parts from not solid parts. Let's see where this leads us, because if you take this theory into a story context, then I have something to show you. Let's go back to the table. So coming from this great model that's almost like an engine where you have matter and antimatter, how does this affect the stories of Lego? And in some way, it's a baseline for all the stories I've been involved in. And I want to show you how this works. The energy crystal. And this crystal is the center of attention. That is what they fight for. But I'm just thinking, what is this crystal? Is it energy for the submarines? Is it what kind of force does it contain? And carrying this from Aquazone into the next series and the next creative stuff we were doing made so much sense. I just want to show you how it affected the design of everything around it. Because if you look at the screen here, you can see the baseline of the crystal, which is actually with it like an 8-angled shape. And this fits into the rocks that was around. So suddenly you didn't only have this sort of center of attention, you also had the location So building the location out of these basalt columns suddenly became a unique place to be for the divers. And this is just the coolest way of having things that sort of comes together in a pattern. It's both really small, but it also goes into the big size. And it has a lot to do with one of my favorite books by Nature's Design. And this is a book I bought almost when I started at the agency. And all the patterns that are repeated from nature in small size into big size, that's exactly the theory I've taken into the design and the ideas for Lego. So I want to show you how this continues. Because if you look through the different IPs, there's always been this center of attention of some kind of energy that people or the characters were looking for. And for me, that sort of gave the whole storytelling a new angle, that there was this elusive value that our heroes were out to protect and so on. And if you look at it, it also repeats in this, where you have the power miners. What are they digging for? It's power crystals inside the rock. So it's always this rock that has a special ability. And if you take that further on into construction, you can say that the slicers were fighting for energy.
7 continents, 1 battle arriving 1st February 1999.
The Robo Riders were also
Robo Riders, quick to build, action-packed functions.
Going for some kind of energy and actually ending up at Bionicle.
Bionicle, each set sold separately.
And that was all about what drives this universe. And that's where the idea for the Well of Time came up. So now I'm gonna take sort of the big sewing needle and try to stitch all this together. Because what if there was a place, a physical location, and now I'm gonna go back to this place here, to this board. Because what if this place where creativity happens, what if this is a location? What if this is a well where uncreated stuff becomes physical stuff? And what if this is where you are when you're closest to creativity? That's when you look into this well. And what would be the coolest thing to be able to do? That would be to surf on the swell that's in the middle of this well. Because energy passes both this way, but it also passes the other way. And I want to try to explain this. When you are standing on the ground and you're looking up into this. This is infinite. But trying to understand that this is also infinite. You know, things that becomes matter is also infinite. There must be some kind of exchange between these two. So my theory is that you have antimatter going into becoming physical stuff and getting squeezed into smaller and smaller things. And at one point it gets so small that it actually escapes and goes the other way. This is a strange theory, but it gives quite a good implication of what you could do at the Well of Time. And in this case, we're going to go back to this amazing event where I challenged Jan Kjær to make the next poster for Bionicle. Because I told Jan, what if we were at this place? How would that new beginning start? What I imagine is that you could go into the well, and if you go deep enough, then you actually move in time, but you also move in size. So grabbing onto this idea and these drawings, You can say that this brave guy with or girl with a surfboard, that is the ultimate sort of point of no return or creativity. I'm sort of betting that if you go time traveling in this way, you will not end up where you started. That is for sure. This is a one-way trip. And now it gets really weird. What if this character that finds the Well of Time actually finds out that if you surf into the Well of Time, you will be able to go to a different universe? And I'm betting that you could imagine that these canisters would maybe have traveled through the Well of Time. And that's why they landed up in a situation where they were so small that they could actually become heroes inside a body of a big giant. What if Mr. Makohiro didn't go through this? He is on the other side, and that's where he builds the Hero Factory. So you would actually have, and now it gets really edgy on the theory, you would have the Hero Factory on one side, and you can choose yourself, and then you would have Bionicle on the other side of this. So if you say Bionicle is up here, you choose, but they are basically split by the Well of Time. And you can look through the Well of Time from both sides, and you will look at it and see, you know, if you go into this well, you disappear. But it looks like that from both sides, both from the place where you have the future and from the place where you have the past. So I would imagine the past being in here, Hero Factory being here, Bionicle being here. But that could shift around depending on what story you want to tell. But this is the point of interest. And another part of this theory would be that if you go into the Well of Time, the closer you get to the bottom, which is where mass is going to be squeezed, you would have, let's say, Lightstone would be at one depth, Protodermis would be at another depth, Quasar would be an even deeper one, and then you would have matter, and equally the other side around. So this explains all the different crystals and different kinds of power. It's all crystals that are growing around the Well of Time and that has different abilities. So that's why, you know, adventurers from both sides are hunting this kind of crystal. And for Bionicle, it meant living metal, which was Protodermis, which actually built up the heroes. On the other side, it means a crystal that the Aquazone are fighting to get, so you can get energy for the submarines or for whatever else. So just imagine this place as where things change from being not built to being built. And I'm just wanna show you some pictures on the board over here, because let's link some more stuff together with this theory. I don't know if you remember one place, which was called Time Cruiser. This is also a Lego theme, and funnily enough, it has this Fibonacci spiral that goes into. If you spiral around this, you will be able to travel in time. That's one thing where you could say this mixes up. This is a theme, but what I'm seeing is it's not time travel, it's creativity travel, because you can be in all kinds of different places at the same time. That is the magic. If you look at another image, taking this together, this is where the Toa and the Borok, they go into this small place in the middle where they actually maybe are sucked into the Well of Time and become something else. And of course, the drawing we did Jan and me, the idea about surfing well of time, that would give you some kind of control maybe, especially if you were out for quasar rock. I have another theory which is really on the edge, you can say, because I went to Egypt, and in Egypt they have this key to life. And actually I asked an Egyptian archaeologist, did the pharaohs and so on, did they know about the infinite sign? And they're like, no, there's no infinity signs in Arabic. But what I'm looking at when I look at this key of life, I'm looking at half the 8. And if you look at the end of this, it's actually the pyramid. So that's why I did this drawing, trying to link the whole thing together. This was in Egypt, and it actually looked a bit like it had the swirl and it had a well. So in some way, it sort of everything came together. And that's another place where you may also, they were looking for drilling in Hero Factory, invasion from below. And what did they find? They found this cave. And if you look at these patterns, it's actually like the cave where Aquazone were diving and finding energy crystals. So this is a repeat of a pattern, but it's also a cave that leads into the depth. And if you look at the view of the cave, you could imagine that they had been drilling to create a well of time, and maybe the Codrix inside the heart of Matanui is an artificial well of time. So maybe that's why the energy is there for this character. And taking everything to a crazy place as well. If you look at the eye, the dark part in the eye, if you look at that as a well of time, you have light coming through it, and it's passing into your eye, and it's passing into your brain, and in your brain ideas sort of pop up. So you're actually carrying 2 wells of time on your body and you can actually process ideas there. So that's where the whole thing sort of comes together. It's the hunt for creativity. It's a quest for future creativity that holds this whole thing together. And that's why this journey is so important. And that's why being able to be part of this for so many years with Lego, given the opportunity to put all these pieces together, I just want to say my life would not have been the same without this amazing toy. It's definitely the toy that made my life playable. And we have sort of a saying here at Copenhagen Rig, play your way. And you can definitely say that we had this view of life that becomes almost like a natural law. That you take all the pieces you get, good or bad, ugly or beautiful, and you build them into your own life or your own model or your own mock, and it becomes your own. This is the core and the center of creativity. So to sum up this whole rant or talk about creativity, I just want to say that when you're standing with the ability to be creative, you can't be sort of semi-creative. You can jump into the well of time and you can grab the stuff around you and you can make it into your own creation. And it's so important to think about creativity not as a product but as a state of mind. And I think our sort of mission is to place this, it's like playing music. You don't play music to get to the end of the tune. You don't surf to get to the beach. You are creative because this is a creative state where you are putting things together. It's not to get to the end. It's not to get to the product. Of course, it's cool when you have stuff, when you have built stuff and so on. But then you need to put your creations into this well of time and see them, or see the heroes, or see the characters you make go into this challenge of creating their life. And this could take place in any kind of location. So there's so many loose bricks out there to put together. There's a whole world of creativity, and I think that is what our goal is for the future. The quest for future creativity. It is our secret superpower, and I think it can make people much more positive and hopeful about what they experience, and it can make them build stories and things and characters with life, with a heart inside. So this was a big explanation, and I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of questions, and maybe I will sort of do another video about the different theories where I sort of broaden it out. But for now, this is a video that I've been waiting to do for years, because I wanted to make like a red thread from the very first Lego experience, which was way before I was working with Lego. I started building from a young age, but what is it that ignites this creativity? That's where everything begins, and it's actually what gives you a playful life, which is pretty good thing to aim for. So hopefully this video gives you some perspective around how story building has been done through the years, with the Lego as an amazing companion and a lifesaver, basically. New video coming up, and stay tuned to the channel. See you next time, and be creative.